Hi, this is Damien Power, director of No Exit and Killing Ground, and you're listening to the Horror Squad podcast.
Hello, welcome back to the Horror Squad podcast, episode number 217. Tonight we're talking about a Hulu film, No Exit. I'm one of your co-hosts, Todd. We have Steve, Joe. Sam is having a little technical difficulty. She'll be on in a few seconds. We also have a special interview, which the boys just recorded.
We have the director of No Exit, Damien Power. Great interview, so stick to the end for that. He talks a lot about like his inspiration to the film and some of the choices that he made, and it was honestly a very, very good interview. So stay tuned to the end of the episode and check it out.
Cool.
Yeah. So Todd, we missed you last week.
Mm.
How's everything? And give us your quick thoughts on What We Do in the Shadows from what you remember. Just
what we do in the shadows, man. It was definitely on my top 10 of the decade when we did that. I don't know how high it was, but it's a 5 out of 5 for me. It does. I mean, are there issues with it? Sure, and some pacing here and there. But I love the characters. I love the world that they built. The comedy, the quirkiness of New Zealand, just everything about the movie I love. And then the TV show I'm all caught up on. Season 3 started off a little rocky, but then definitely righted the ship. And that one overall, I would put at like a 4.5 out of 5 because the series has had some stinker episodes. But the movie itself, though, I love it. It's great.
You saw the movie first, right?
Yep.
Yeah. See, so I didn't, and I think that hurt my experience of the movie because I saw a lot of the beats coming.
They definitely borrow a lot of like story elements and comedic bits and stuff from the movie, so that makes sense.
Right.
But it's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
You guys all rated it high?
Yeah, I think all 8+, I think.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think 8.5. I think we're all like around the same. I think I was an 8. Actually, I think Steve was the lowest. I think didn't you have like a 7.5, Steve, or something?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm at like a 9. I'm a 9.5 for that movie. I absolutely love that movie.
It's great. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cool. So we're not doing questions this week because we decided that we're going to start doing questions every second episode. Keep everything fresh. So you guys want to get into what watched or?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think also at the end of the episode, when we're done talking about the film, we'll talk about very quickly what everyone else rated on Discord. If you put your quick review, we'll read it off so we can get a consensus of what everyone else thinks too. But what watched? Let's see here. I don't have mine in front of me. Hold on, I gotta go to Letterboxd, bring it up. Batman's out today, or actually last week. Did anyone see it yet?
Did you? No.
Seeing it Thursday.
Yeah, I'm gonna see it hopefully this week.
Yeah, I think we're gonna see it this week too. I think, but I've heard nothing but amazing things about it, so I'm super excited.
Super excited.
All right, my first what watched is The Editor, which came out in 2014. It's a giallo Italian spoof, which I've seen before, and we watched it with my buddies for movie night, where we each pick a movie and we watch them back to back. And this one, if you haven't seen it before, it's about a film production for a horror movie, and then people start getting killed on set. And it's intentionally dubbed incorrectly, so it's like it's supposed to be an Italian film dubbed in English, but it's an English film. They just made the words aren't matching it. It makes for super hilarious moments. There's tons of nudity, female, male alike. So anyone, whatever your preferences you got in this movie, it's just one of those movies where like go in with like an open mind, and I think you'll have a great time because there's so much hilarious stuff going on, and it's got a lot of good gore. So that one was from 2014. Oh, also, it stars the dad from Psycho Gorman, for the people that like that movie. And I believe it was directed by him as well, if I remember. Well, actually, I'm looking at it right now. Yes, it was directed by the dad from Psycho Gorman as well. So, The Editor, 2014, awesome movie. And it's over on Shudder and Tubi.
Nice. My Psycho Gorman figures finally came in. I pre-ordered them like when the movie came out, like a year and a half ago or whatever, and they finally showed up in the mail the other day. So,
Are you pleased?
Pretty excited about that. Yeah, I knew what I was getting. They're just small. They're kind of like the reaction style figures, but they're cool. They were cheap. So yeah, I saw that our buddy Damien Maffei is becoming an action figure. Their Trick or Treat Studios today announced a haunt line of action figures. They're doing every single character in like reaction style format. So that's pretty cool.
You see anything, Joe?
Yeah, I've seen some things. Oh, um, well, I watched a movie that we're going to be covering next week, so I'll save my thoughts for that until next week's episode. But I got one tonight. It is called Hellbender from 2022. I saw a lot of people talking about this one online, and it's about witches. So I was like, well, I gotta watch it. So this one is directed by the Addams family. Horror fans might know them best for God, what did they do last year? I watched it and I actually reviewed it on What Watched. The Deeper You Dig, which I thought that one was okay, but I didn't love that one. So going into this one, I kind of knew what to expect. They are a low budget. They're a family that makes low budget, and they star and they act, direct, and they do everything. I mean, it's actually pretty impressive. So this one is about a teenage girl who's kind of coming of age, and she has been kept basically isolated by her mother, who has told her that she is, sick. She's like, you just, you can't go out, you can't interact with people because, you have like some sort of disease or something like that. But she starts, obviously, as, adolescent teenage girls do, they start breaking the rules, and she starts kind of going off. They live like in the middle of the woods, so she starts kind of like walking around the woods, and she starts interacting with strangers and stuff she meets and whatnot. And she comes to discover that basically she's a witch, and her mother's been keeping that from her because basically she has like evil witch tendencies, but the mother starts training her and teaching her like how to like, kind of use your powers for good and stuff like that. And, things take a turn, and I'll leave it at that. Overall, I liked this one. It definitely has a lot of flaws because, it's very low. It's, maybe not extremely low budget, but it's pretty low budget. The acting at times is pretty, rough, but it's like a really, really cool story. It's a really cool idea. The witch stuff felt like super authentic and genuine. There's some really cool visuals in here. A pretty cool like metal style soundtrack as well. So I would recommend it to certain people. People that are into like witchy movies. But maybe not more like the mainstream crowd who are, expecting, big budget fairs and stuff like that. But this was a decent one. It's definitely not going to make my top 10 or anything like that. But I think it's definitely worth a watch, at least.
My first one this week is a 2021 film that I watched over on Amazon Prime in Canada anyway, and that is Titane, which is a film from Belgium.
Yes.
So both of you talked about it during the end of year period. I think at least one of you had it on your top 10.
I did. I think it's number 4 or 5.
Yeah.
We both did. Yeah,
both did,
I had
okay.
it pretty high myself. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I had high expectations going into this one. I wasn't quite sure what to expect. All I knew was about a girl that had sex with cars. That's all I knew about it. So I went in, and it's about a girl who gets into a car accident, and she has kind of titanium like pieces put to her so to kind of rebuild her. And the story takes place years later, where she works at car shows, and she does have a fetish for vehicles. But then, she's like killing people all the time that piss her off. But she gets in over her head at a party, and there are more people at a place than she had anticipated. So she can no longer get away with her crimes. So she goes to as she's running away, she goes to a place and changes her identity to kind of match someone who's like a missing person that's aged in the future. And incidentally, it's a boy. So she cuts her hair off, she bandages her breasts, and she's also pregnant. So she's bandaging her stomach. And then she goes to live with the father of that kid who had been lost, and he now thinks is found. Wow, this movie is insane. I could not predict the next 3 minutes like ever. You never knew what was going to happen next, and it was delightful. In this case, having a movie where you really don't know what's going to happen next it's really good because it keeps you on your toes. And there's a lot of fucked up shit in this movie, but the movie also has a lot of heart. There's a lot of emotion as this father is like kind of gripping with the reality that his son might be back, and then it's, you know, what she's going through with her, like, kind of taping her ever growing stomach and her trying to adapt into this new life. I think I would have given the main actress of this film my Best Actress of the Year award for 2021, because holy shit, she does a great job of, you know, conveying emotions, and often without saying anything. She doesn't speak all that much in the movie. So yeah, this is fantastic. It's a great film. I'm happy I watched it. I'm happy you guys told me about it. So if you can seek it out, check it out. That's Titan from 2021.
I'm glad you liked it. There's a lot in that movie, man. There's a ton. And I can understand why people don't like it too. Like, I totally get it, but that one, like, for everything you said, it's impossible to guess what's happening in that film. Impossible. Even after you watched it, you're like, okay, what? So, but yeah, at the end of the day, that's actually a pretty sad movie. So, all right, my next one is 1979's Don't Go in the House. This is a rewatch as well. Basically, this gentleman, my friend put it perfectly. It's like a mix between Psycho and Maniac, where this guy has a very strange relationship with his mother. She's she's overbearing, things like that. And one day he comes home and she's died. So he takes his newfound freedom and acts pretty much like a little kid. Starts like playing records really loud, smoking cigarettes, jumping on couches, things like that. But he's also a little bit crazy. He has no skill with women. So he tries to pick him up, and he's just the most awkward dude of all time. So he decides to. Oh, he also is very into fire, because when he was a kid, his mother put his hand over like the crap. What's it called? Where you cook fucking food on.
Stove?
Not the oven. Stove, there you go. To reprimand him for something he did. So he burned his arms, and now he's just really in the fire. So long story short, he abducts women, and he puts them in his this room that he fireproofed, and he puts on a fire suppression kind of system and flamethrowers them to death, or lights them on fire and kills them. So it's cool because it's different. You don't really see a slasher or a crazy person use fire. Usually it's knives or whatever. It's a really good movie, so I'd highly recommend it. Don't Go in the House. Let me see where it's streaming at. That one is over on Tubi for Americans, so Don't Go in the House, 1979. You watched Don't Go in the House, I think, a while back, right, Joe?
I did. Is that the Fulci one?
No, it's flamethrower guy kills people in his room or his house. I thought you did.
No, I didn't see. I don't think I did see. No, I picked that one when we were supposed to do the Video Nasty episode. I picked that one for a vote, and it didn't win, and I never ended up watching it. Was it worth it?
Yeah, I think you like it. It's on Tubi.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll check it out. All right, I get one more, actually. I can briefly talk about it. I started a new TV show, kind of has genre tones, called Severance, over on Apple TV, starring our boy Adam McKay, who you might know from Parks and Recreation. I don't know if anyone's given it a shot yet, but essentially...
Ooh, I've heard good things about this.
Yeah, so it was created by Ben Stiller, of all people, too, which is, like, really interesting. But, yeah, so it actually has a great cast. You got... Adam McKay, you got John Turturro, who I love John Turturro, the Jesus. And then you got Christopher Walken in here, Patricia Arquette. Very, very good cast. But yeah, essentially the story is about a guy who basically had like a tragedy in his life, and he joins this company that severs your work life and like your normal life. So they like implant something inside of your brain. So when you go to work, you don't remember anything from your outside life. And when you leave work, you don't remember anything from your work life. So it completely severs, those two lives. So basically how the pilot happens is, we're taken into this world. One of the coworkers is no longer there. The coworker ends up showing up in Adam McKay's normal life and is like, hey, like, listen, like I said, you don't know who I am, but I was able to reverse the severance, and there's some fucked up shit going on like at this company. And so far I'm only a couple episodes in, but so far it's fucking like really good, really, really interesting. It's a super unique like concept. And yeah, I'm really digging it. So if you can check it out, Apple TV has been pretty solid. I mean, between Servant, which my God, that show has really taken off the past few weeks, in its third season. And I think I think Shyamalan's only doing 5 total on that one. But between Servant and Severance. I'd say it's totally worth the subscription to Apple TV if you, just for those 2 shows alone.
I just like the concept of separating your work and personal life.
Yeah.
Let's look in more into that, Elon Musk. Let's look into that.
Right.
All right. My second one this week is a movie from, let's go 2021, and that's Don't Breathe 2. So I'm trying to like finish off all the 2021 films that I had on my list. So in Don't Breathe 2, Stephen Lang returns as the blind old man. This one takes place years later, and he's somehow taken possession a kind of daughter, which he just took from the street and started raising her. And years later, she's like growing up and stuff, and he's raising her. And these people come to kidnap her, so he has to get out of his comfort zone and get her back. This was a completely unnecessary film. There's a lot of brutal kills and stuff like that, so I did appreciate it for that. But outside of that, this movie is so unneeded that it's just like it almost pissed me off, because I thought Don't Breathe was actually really good. And an issue which I have with this movie, and I have with a lot of the other movies, is I didn't care for anyone. So there's no stakes. I don't care who lives or dies whatsoever. So if anyone dies, it's like, okay, let's move on. I want to see the cool kill and get on with it. I hope that I don't want them to do more of these. I think it's completely pointless. It's a waste of a great talent in Stephen Lang. I think he's fantastic, and it's just, by the numbers at this point. So yeah, didn't like this one. Big disappointment. So, but I expected it after you guys said, what you said about it last year. So that's Don't Breathe 2.
Yeah, who do you root for? The rapists, the drug dealers that want to kill the kid for their heart? Seriously, it's such a stupid
There's
movie.
no one to root for. And the first one was kind of that way too, because it's people breaking into his house to steal his shit, and this poor guy turns out to be also a fucking
rapist.
So it's like, who are you rooting for in these fucking films?
Yeah, there's always a line that sticks out to me in part 2 where he's telling the little girl stuff. He's like, "I'm a rapist." I'm like, who wrote this? Like, what are they thinking?
Yeah, disappointment.
God.
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for, and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
So we got trivia, guys, and bad news bears. Sam cannot get her computer to work, so she won't be coming on tonight. We'll have her writing a no exit later. So we're gonna do trivia, but it's not worth anything. It's just for laughs. So
let's put some stakes on it.
Okay, what are we staking here?
Put a movie on it.
Whoever wins gets to pick up a punishment movie for the other 2 guys to watch.
Perfect.
I'm good with that.
All right.
Oh wait, oh no, we have to wait for Sam to give me my punishment still, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Next time.
That'll be separate.
I have a feeling it's one of those Discord movies you fuckers are talking about. So, Fangin' Shark or something like that.
No.
The Shark.
Sharkula.
Sharkula, there you go.
Or one of the 36 Amityville films.
Yeah, I was gonna say, can we talk about Amityville in space real quick? It just got announced this week.
Oh yeah.
Hey, you know what though? The art looks pretty cool. I'm not gonna.
That's
Did you watch the trailer yet?
No, I didn't.
Oh man.
Oh my god, the trailer. Oh,
trailer.
What's the
concept? In some guy's basement.
I mean, it looks like a trauma movie, 100%. Like maybe even worse though.
Yeah, it's worse than a trauma movie. Oh my god. All right, yeah. So we'll do that.
Is a house a spaceship? Is that the point?
The house like launches. The house like you see the house launch up into space like a rocket ship. So I don't know.
Oh, that's awesome.
Man, it's amazing how many Amityville movies they've made, though. Is it like Night of the Living Dead, where you can just make an Amityville movie because there's no one owns the licensing for it or something
it
like
must
that?
Be because 36 of them minimum.
36, wow.
Yeah.
There's more than that.
I'm sure there's more. Yeah, that's just the ones from that list that's been going around Facebook.
What kind of name recognition can you get though from that? You know, I guess it gets them if it works.
And they already know. You know, yeah. You hear Amityville, you're just like, Ooh, spooky. Okay, I'll watch this one.
All right.
Ready to begin?
All right, I guess I'll start it off.
All right, let's see what we got here.
Okay.
For 1 million
All right.
points.
We
should
ready?
We should do negative. If we get it right, you get a negative point. Ooh.
Ooh, I like it. Let's do it.
Yeah? But you have to try.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Right.
for like, I'll watch a shitty movie anyways. It doesn't faze me whatsoever.
So are we doing negative points if you get it right plus a shitty movie?
It's what?
So it's just
No, just like the score. So if you get negative points if you get something wrong, positive points you get something right, and whoever has the most points at the end of the round picks for the other two.
Gotcha. Got it. All right, start it out. Let me get my little
All righty.
notes. There we go. All right.
All right. My questions come from Kayla.
Kayla.
All righty. In 13 Ghosts, he went by the name of Royce Clayton until he was burned alive in a car wreck. Which ghost did he become in the afterlife?
The first ghost. Yeah.
I mean, I don't.
I mean, it is.
I need the specific name of the ghost.
The guy that I don't know. Dang it.
I really don't know. I
Was
only
it
know
the first one though?
I don't know. It was the Torn Prince. Is
Oh,
the
yeah.
answer.
Torn
I don't
Prince.
know
Guess that one.
No fucking clue.
if he's the first ghost, I'll give Todd the point, but I don't.
We're not going to check. So just
Yeah,
I was
unless
like,
you're
I
checking
don't-
now.
if someone wants to Google it.
I'm putting -1 for both me and Steve.
All right.
All right.
All right. Go ahead, Steve.
All right. So I'm going to try a new type of question this week as a test run. See if you
Ooh.
guys like this type of question. If not, it will not return. So I'm going to slowly give you words up to 4 that are big elements of a horror film. And the first word is vague, and the more I go into it, the more it's like relevant to the film.
Okay.
But I'm only giving you one guess. So it's you to choose.
Use your guess.
Yeah,
wisely.
use your guess when you.
Wisely.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, but my question is: are these words like in the movie, or just words associated?
They're things. They're like items in the movie.
Okay.
Or elements or themes or something like that will make you recognize what the movie is.
Gotcha. All right.
Okay.
Yes.
Tennis. University.
Fuck. Shush. Hold on. Don't say the third word yet, because it's on the tip of my freaking tongue. The fucking movie where.
You want me to keep going?
Damn it! It's
Okay.
in the freaking rack over there. I can see the red
that's
spine.
great.
I just can't read it.
All right, I'm gonna keep going for a
All
joke.
right.
Chainsaw.
No, what is it? I can't.
Oh, pieces.
Yeah.
Yes, fuck, damn it. Oh my god.
Yes.
Terrible.
And the last one was Jigsaw.
+1. Another -1 for me. Shit.
I want to get that puzzle. Someone sells it.
Oh, really?
They sell it. They sell like a jig. Yeah.
With blood on it?
Grindhouse does. Grindhouse releasing.
Grindhouse. Yeah.
All right, this one's from Miss Weezerface. Match the quote to the movie. Here's the quote. Everybody has to eat shaving cream once in a while.
Ooh. Maybe
Everybody has to eat shaving cream once in a while. Think of shaving cream and the color of it. That's a big hint to the movie. And then the fact that you eat stuff.
Oh,
the
the stuff?
The stuff. I don't know who said it
We
first.
both
but
said it. So
+1 for each. Who cares?
all right. Joe.
All right. +1 again.
I love that movie.
So you're to 0 now, Steve, since you got a negative
Yeah.
and a plus.
Mhm.
Shit, I need to
back
catch
to
up.
me.
Yep.
All righty. Tagline. The rules are broken.
Scream 5.
No, but it is. I will give you a hint. Another hint. It is from a
Franchise.
movie franchise that came out. Probably started in the 2000s, maybe even 2010s.
The Purge. I already had a guess.
Joe, like, yes, it is the Purge.
The Purge.
It's not. I mean, it is a Purge movie, but it's not the Purge. So I'll give you that. I'll give you a guess. I'll give you both another guess based on that.
Purge.
I'm gonna go Purge. Rules. Purge 3. I forget what the subtitle is.
Election year.
Election year.
Yeah, 2 is Anarchy. Let's go with the Forever Purge.
The Forever Purge is correct.
Yes. All right, Steve and I are both tied now.
All right. So that all my questions are the same style tonight.
All right.
Shopping mall.
Shopping mall.
Wrong. That's your guess. So.
Damn it! No.
You went too quick. I told you the first one's big. So, Joe, you can. I'll say the next 3. If by the 4th one you don't know,
going.
Todd
Let's
could
keep
go
going.
Again. Valley Girls.
All right.
Valley Girls. Shopping mall.
Red Dust.
Red Dust.
Oh, I got it.
Yeah, you gotta wait till the end.
He's not gonna get
Shopping mall.
Valley
Red
Girls, Red Dust,
Red Dust.
and Zombies.
I'm in your mind. Can I go now since it's the 4th one?
I'll give you one. Yeah, go ahead.
Night of the Comet.
Correct.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen it.
Ooh, it's a good one.
All right.
0. I'm back to 0, baby. Oh, Joe's only at +1 now. Okay. This one's coming from Miss Kayla.
Wait, do I get a negative for that point though? I didn't even guess.
Yep.
Yeah,
because
you're
you're getting it wrong.
So
Oh,
you're
okay.
so
We're
you're
not
at
getting
plus you're at +1 right now. Steve's at
Okay.
-1. I'm at 0.
All right.
So technically you're in the lead. All right. From
I'll
Kayla.
take it.
When Sydney asked Detective Kincaid what his favorite scary movie is in Scream 3, what was it?
The Exorcist.
Exorcist is on the board.
Sydney asks the Detective Kincaid what his favorite scary movie is. No. Do I get a negative point no matter if I guess or not?
Yes.
Okay, so I better. All right, so I'll guess here. Night of the Living Dead.
Both are incorrect, but I'm gonna give you another opportunity because it's kind of a trick question.
Oh.
Can you repeat it?
When Cindy asked Detective Kincaid what
Oh,
his favorite
Stab?
scary movie is, Stab's on the board. What did he say?
None.
That's too vague. He says, "My life."
Oh.
Okay.
My life. All right, Joe's at 0 because that's a negative.
kinda
and
emo.
Steve's at -2. He's very emo-ish. And then Cindy says, "Mine too." There you go.
Joe,
Back to me.
last round. I'm pretty fucked up.
All right.
But
You're -2. You can come back.
All right. What is the population of the town of Perfection at the beginning of Tremors?
Perfection. Are we doing closest?
Sure.
Perfection. Let's go.
Without
that-
going
that-
over.
that statue has from what's that guy there? Homemade Horror, I think, has it on his statue.
12.
Oh no. I'm gonna go 800.
Todd, almost on the nose. 14
Oh, damn.
Ooh.
is the correct answer.
Because I was trying to count them in my mind. There's a kid, his mom, young kid, 2 survivalists. Ooh, I'm in the positives, baby. Steve is a -3.
Yeah, I'm
Uh-oh.
done. Shitty movie in my future. All right. Now remember, Todd, if you blow your load too quick,
It worked out last time.
Wishes.
Wishmaster. I'm just gonna fucking say it.
I told you the first one's super vague.
I know, but I'm like, if I don't say Wishmaster and it's Wishmaster, I'm gonna shoot myself.
It's
So, all
not.
right.
So now you're again.
I'll wait. Dang it.
Spider,
Wishmaster, Spider.
trophy, and bowling.
Slime Ballorama. Girls at the Slime Ballorama or whatever it's called.
Yeah, I think Joe froze.
No. What is it? Something girls at the Slime Ballorama.
Sorority babes of
Yeah,
the
that's
slime bowl, slime bowl ballerama. Wow, who the fuck knows?
Did you? Yeah,
Something
but when
like
did you say it, Joe?
I don't think I did at all. So
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because you
Yeah,
froze. So.
you got
All right, one more here. Okay. In Wes Craven's New Nightmare, what bedtime story does Heather tell her son? What? I'll simplify it to you. What fairy tale story does
Oh,
Heather tell Dylan?
yep.
Three Little Pigs.
Hansel and Gretel.
Hansel and Gretel, back up to -1. Steve, -4. You're done. All right, I got one more for you guys to finish out Kayla's here. Who was the first lost boy to die?
I don't
even know
remember
this one.
I need to.
You're asking me
rewatch it.
character. You're asking me character names. I mean, David's the only one I remember. I don't remember any of the other ones' names.
Marco, whoever that was. All right, so I need to pick a movie for you, gentlemen, or just Steve.
No, both of us.
Both of you. Interesting. All right, I'll come back to it.
Yeah, come back to it.
I'll do my research.
I don't think it'll be entertaining as Rectuma. That's for sure.
All right, No Exit.
Yeah.
Sure.
Which is funny because like this synopsis on IMDb is not the actual synopsis. They copy and pasted the book one, which is different.
Right.
But according to IMDb, during a blizzard and stranded at an isolated highway rest stop in the mountains, a college student discovers a kidnapped child hidden in a car belonging to one of the people inside. But the movie version is Darby. She's a recovering drug addict, and she's at like a I don't know, like a in-house therapy thing where she can't leave and blah, 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 10-step program, whatever you want to call it. And she gets a call saying her mother's in the hospital with a brain aneurysm. She's dying. Darby's not allowed to leave because they don't believe her shit because she's, made up stories before or tried to escape. Just, pathological liar, things like that. So she ends up escaping from the home, steals a car, and then drives her way toward her mother. However, there's a big snowstorm that comes in and it causes the highways to close. So she has to go to a rest stop that the police officer opened for everybody. And when she's in there, she meets a older couple, a younger kind of college age man, a creepy dude named Lars. And then when she's fucking around outside, she comes across a creepy van with a little girl tied up in the back. And it's clear that she has been kidnapped. And now Darby has to figure out who she can trust, how to get out of the situation while trying to keep her cool in that situation. So who would like to take it?
I will, but you might hear the dog drinking water in the background. So yeah, I really had no prior knowledge of this movie besides kind of seeing it on some people mentioning on the Discord and some forums online. So I went into this like really blind, and I ended up overall like pretty much enjoying this one. I mean, I definitely think there's some issues which we'll obviously get into, but yeah, I think they did a good job of kind of keeping you on your toes. Yeah, because like, they introduced the twist like super early into this movie, and I was like, what the fuck is going to happen for the next hour of this movie? But then they kept introducing new twists and kind of keeping it fresh. Some people might find it illogical, I guess, like that. But I feel like with this movie, I was kind of able to forgive it and kind of just go along for the ride with it. So yeah, I mean, I think it's like just like a fun little thriller. Do I think it's anything like amazing or like groundbreaking or anything? No, but I think it's kind of a good, kill an hour and a half and kind of just enjoy the ride type of movie. And, I really did enjoy the Darby character, and I enjoyed, kind of her story. Although I don't know if like the whole drug addiction thing was really like necessary, I guess, because it really, I know like it kind of went, I guess. It kind of gave her like
so they can give her superpowers at the end.
Yeah, it like kind of gave her an
Magic
arc,
mushrooms.
I guess, at the end, but I didn't feel like it was like 100% necessary. But it did bring some I guess something to the character. But overall, I enjoyed like the whole cast, honestly, of characters here. I thought everyone did a pretty good job. And yeah, I mean, I'll leave it at that for now.
Yeah, I didn't know what to expect much either. Although I did, like, obviously Todd talked about the book like 2 weeks ago, so I knew a little bit about it. And all the stuff I'm saying, I know I'm talking about the movie, but it relates to the overall story, like some of the complaints I'll have and stuff. But I mean, it's an enjoyable film. I enjoyed watching it. I love, some parts of it. There are some issues that I have with it, specifically to things that I liked a lot about the movie. I found were cut short too quickly, and I wish they had elaborated more, but I'll get into that when we go into details. I love the relationships between all the characters. I love the dynamic between the characters. I thought that was when the film was at its strongest, is when everyone was in a room just chit-chatting. You know, we talk about the in the interview a little bit, and I agree 100%. The bullshit card game I thought was the best scene in the movie for a lot of reasons, which I'll go into later. And yeah, it just, you know, it had a lot of twists, so it kept moving and it kept like, okay, you know, surprising me in certain ways. Some of the kills were pretty brutal as well, which was always nice. Very impressed by the location, especially after you'll see in the interview that it's all on the set. I consider myself a snow snob, especially snow for some reason, and it kind of blew my mind that it was completely fake. You know, it's all on set, so that was pretty amazing. And yeah, there's, you know, once we talk about the specifics, I think I can go more into certain feelings, but overall I thought it's a decent film.
Yeah, not a whole lot that I really liked about this one. And I think maybe it's because I read the book so recently, and the book, in my opinion, was a lot stronger than this one. And I looked at Steve's review, and I understand his frustrations with like the cool stuff in the plot or in the movie not being utilized. And then in the book, it was the flip side where it was utilized. Like that was the whole point. Is like, well, we'll get there. But yeah, overall, I mean, I like the set, I like the location, I like the premise of it, but I thought the execution was a little bit off, and I thought the acting was a little bit spotty as well. Yeah, and I have a whole list of comparing what changes was from the book to the movie, which we can go over later. It's long, but it's short because I made it to the point.
Yeah. For me, like, I never felt bored watching this movie, which was always like a plus. Like, I felt like it didn't really waste any of its runtime. I mean, yeah, we get like Darby's like little 20-minute kind of intro, but after that, I feel like they really kind of put the pedal to the metal and never really let up. Like, there was always like something going on or some sort of tense moment, you know? So I think that really helped this movie move along at a pretty good pace as well.
Which is surprising for a movie that's mostly in one location,
Mhm.
because one location movies, often the problem is that it gets boring. You know, they all
Right.
move around a lot, but they use the location very well. You know, they don't stay in one room. They go into the bathroom, they
Mhm.
go into the back area, they go outside for a little bit, they go into the van. You know, so even though it's all really one area, they do a good job of kind of moving the characters around. And also, like one thing that I liked about that is that you only have what, like 5 characters or 6 characters in
Mhm.
this entire story, or most of it, and like it was a good way to separate the characters and get the dynamic between 2 different characters or 3 different characters, because people would be outside having a smoke or testing their cell phone. People would be at the bathroom, so you know, the old lady comes in to talk to Darby, or then the couples with Darby, or the couples with the weird dude. And it was an interesting way to like kind of break into little groups and test different dynamics. I really like that about it. But my complaint that I was talking about before is that, being such a big fan of the kind of bullshit scene, what I liked about it is that the whole time that it was almost like a mind game, you know, because at that point, Darby knows that there's a kid in the van, but she doesn't know who the van belongs to. And the mind game that she plays, trying to figure out who owns the van with the little information that she has, but not wanting to reveal the fact that she wants to know who lives in the van, I thought was brilliant. But they tell you, well, they reveal who owns the van so quickly that I was kind of like bummed out, because I'm like, well, that was the mystery of it all was really interesting.
Right.
You know, even though there are other twists come into play later, I don't think they were as strong as that one. And that kind of where I think the movie drops a little bit to me.
Right. No, I agree. And do you think I feel like we should have had more characters? Like, and it might have just been a budgetary thing or whatever. I don't know if there were more characters in the book, Todd, but like there were no red herrings. Like
Yeah,
there was like it was kind of obvious. I feel like.
That's what I kind of meant before by like what I'm saying is, I know it's a movie based on the book, is I wish there
Yeah.
were more characters, because like
Mhm.
you said, there's so few people to like pick from that it was like, yeah, there's no red herrings. They could even use some people just to be collateral damage and get more kills out of it. But with a group of 6, I felt it was, you know, it could have been a little bit more.
Yeah, the cop is a character in the book more so than in the movie, and yeah, it's same amount of characters, but they're like all the dialogue is fleshed out more. And just from like a film, it's hard to separate them, especially when I just like read it, you know. But it would have been so much nicer if you have the information that Darby has longer, you know. Because one of my issues too with it, I know you like the look of the snow, Steve, but it didn't seem like it was ever a threat. Like I expected like there to be feet of snow, and in the book it's described as like there's multiple vehicles that are covered over in snow, and she uses that to her advantage. Like okay, like who got here first, and blah blah blah. And it ends up one of them is like a trash container that was a car, and then the brother Ash like says that was his car because they couldn't tell because it's covered with snow and stuff like that. So she has the information that Lars is the creeper right away. Not right away, but pretty early in the script. But then her guessing work of trying to figure out who she can trust and not, because they make the guy seem shady. Sandy's more shady in the book. Ash is like super. In the movie, you can tell he's kind of a bad guy. You know, he kind of has a look to him. But in the book, he's like really like he's just a nice guy. Like you automatically assume he's not going to be a threat. But in this one, he already starts being creepy. It's kind of like Jack Nicholson is like already crazy in The Shining. You can tell. Obviously, it's like a different performance, but like you can. This one like tipped him off right away. Is like oh, they're not even trying to hide that they're brothers. And then the relationship with the brothers is fleshed out like a lot more. Lars is more of a victim to Ash because Ash like literally tortures pets. They have a sex ring that they operate, and that's why they're taking the kid to a uncle because he's a fucking freak. But yeah, they just went they jumped around way too much, and then I just with Darby being a drug addict, I didn't really like it because her arc in the book was she's just a piece of shit, like self-centered, doesn't care about anyone but herself. Told her mother like she doesn't like her, and then she goes to the hospital with cancer and things like that. And her arc was not relying on anybody else but herself. But then this one, it kind of dulled that down because they put so much emphasis on the man character, the black gentleman, being kind of like the savior, where it kind of did like, okay, well, we were going for a powerful woman character, but then she's trying to rely on this man, which I didn't really like where they went. I liked in the book where Darby was the shit from the beginning, and she had to overcome being physically inferior to him because she's like 100 pounds, right? The guy in the book is just like the older gentleman is really he's a loser. He's a straight up, he's an alcoholic. He's drunk the whole time. So he's not any kind of help. And when he finally does stand up to him, it's too late. But this one, like, all right, get to the side, little girl. I'm going to take over because I was a Marine. And it was just like, I didn't really like that angle with that they went there.
I just like that actor in general. So I was like,
Just
I
like
like
the
his
commercials.
character in this.
I like him
All
president in 24. I loved him in that role.
Mhm. So yeah, I dug him in this, but I totally get what you're saying. Like as someone who didn't read the book and you explaining it, yeah, like Darby she's like a strong character in this, but like you're right. Like she does kind of use him as kind of a crutch at times, you know, for help and whatnot. So no, yeah, that makes sense.
So you said that in the book the snow is up over the cars. Is that?
Yep.
See, I don't know if that works cinematically because then she can't get to the van. If there's snow,
not all of them.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's the thing. It's like I guess it was just tough to convey like on film, you know, especially if she's running through the forest and all that kind of stuff. So
well, and that too, it was kind of strange. Like that's why I say like the snow wasn't a factor because one, it didn't pile up, and two, in the book, it's like we can't fucking leave because there's feet of snow and they're not dressed, you know, snow gear, and she's having hypothermia, and the girl's like having cold problems, obviously, and all that stuff. But no, there's a trash compactor, a trash dumpster that's overfull with snow. So that's Ash says that's his car, and she can't tell it because it's covered. And then there's different stages of cars with different piles of snow on it. So she's trying to figure out like who arrived when,
who
and
got
things
there
like that.
first? Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
And where does the cop fit into all this in the book?
They switch gears because they're in the freaking same thing for the whole time. They go to his perspective because there's a really cool like tension thing where she ends up sending the text, right? And it kind of happens the same in the book, no, the movie, sorry. But it goes through and he doesn't know it, Ash. But since she's not from there, she mislabeled what rest stop she was at. So it's like a thing where you're going along with the cop and he's, you know, going to this rest stop and he opens the door and it's at a high point in the story where it's a showdown. They're all fighting each other, blah, blah, blah. And you think the cop's going to save the day and he comes in there. It's an empty room because she gave him the wrong address. So then it goes back to her like being 100% alone again, because Ash and the brother like totally kill like both the older characters like very gruesomely, and they end up torturing Darby, and she rips off her own fingers to get out of a trap and stuff like that. So it's pretty good. But yeah, they shift perspective to him, thinking he's gonna ride in on a white horse and save the day, but he's in the wrong location because she messed up. But he still dies at the end though.
One thing I thought of too towards the beginning of the movie is I just didn't really buy that Darby would actually stop at the lodge. Like I feel like she was pretty stubborn and she just like escaped from the rehab. I feel like she would have been like, fuck it, I'm just driving past this lodge and I'm gonna take my chances.
I agree. But yeah, they had to get her there somehow.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. Like she seemed the type, especially in a stolen car.
Right.
Oh no, I'll go stop where the cop told me to stop.
Wouldn't they have called the police by then? There already would have been like a fucking be on the look a bolo for this car she stole.
Yeah, she's probably pretty far from the facility at this point.
Yeah,
maybe in
maybe.
the mountains, they're especially before a storm, they're not thinking of, oh, it's probably a stolen car,
right?
Because they probably didn't even run her plates or anything, just kind of giving advice. Well, one question / issue that I have, maybe I just missed a line of dialogue or something, is so the older woman is related to all this, but how did she end up at the same facility as the other two guys? I guess I missed that part.
They needed the medicine, and so when they abducted her, the medicine wasn't where Sandy said it would be, so they told her, you need to bring the medicine to us.
Okay.
So I mean, it's kind of
it's just that twist I didn't love.
Here's what I didn't understand either. But I mean, I guess like, hey, like maybe the husband doesn't ask questions about like where the wife goes to work or something, but wouldn't she have like shown like a picture of like, hey, this is a kid I'm taking care of or something like that? Like he didn't like recognize the little girl when she came in. I mean, maybe like you don't do that or something, but I just feel like I don't know if like Sam was like, like nannying a girl or something, I'd probably see a picture of her at some point.
Yeah, plus the fact that the kid was kidnapped and the police were questioning her quite a bit. They went to her house looking for evidence.
Right.
So it's like,
yeah. He just seemed like so shocked that it was, like her, and had no idea that it was like this little girl that she was taking care of. I was like they're fucking like married, right? Like shouldn't they? You think they would like he would kind of figure this out? But I thought that was actually like a pretty good twist though. Like I didn't really see that she was involved in that. So like I thought that was kind of good. Like that they kept you on your toes that way. With the third twist, I guess, of the movie, with the brother being the second twist. But yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, when you have a movie like that and like everyone's practically involved, it's like, I don't know. It's just that's why I think more characters would have been better, because then it would have been more plausible that, there are other people there. And yeah, it's just, but it's still, I thought it was still enjoyable.
Well, let me give you guys the differences in plot real quick. So changes. Darby isn't a recovering addict. I already said that she's a college student going after her mom. The kid is inside a dog cage, and she's also been tortured. Ash doesn't find the nail gun. He has it in his car because they're like a maintenance. That's their job. They're maintenance guys or whatever. And since he tortures his brother all the time, he put a nail through her hand because she was violating their rules or whatever. The older couple aren't a couple. They're actually cousins, and the guy's a recovering alcoholic, and they're going to visit family. There's no military talk because no one's in the military in this. There's no construction going on in the bathroom. It's just a bathroom with a window that she breaks out of. They already had the nail gun. We already talked about that. Not revealed until much later that the guys are together. It's like awesome when it's revealed because they're about to ambush Lars, and then he turns around and reveals. It's pretty good. There's feet of snow, not just a little storm. I know it's bigger than a little, but whatever. There's a lot more getting to know the two brothers before everything is revealed. Also, what's good too is Ash. He's such a manipulative little prick that when they're playing, they don't play bullshit. They play a different kind of guessing game thing. But he puts nuggets in there that they're related. Like he calls them, "Hey, what's up, brother?" Stuff like that, and that you wouldn't get right away until you know that they're related. And then Darby starts putting it all together. He's like, "Motherfucker," and he writes notes to her too, like, "I'm gonna kill her if you say anything. I'm gonna kill him. They don't know." Blah blah blah. The guy Ash tries to suffocate Darby in the bathroom with a plastic bag before she escapes. The older lady is not a maid; she's a school bus driver. Jay is like a strong kid in the book. She's not screaming the whole time. She's actively trying to help, and she tries to fight back. Ash breaks the lady's neck. So Sandy, he puts his knee in her back, and then pulls back on their forehead until she breaks her neck, and it's pretty gruesome because it's drawn out. And he nail guns the guy in his mouth and his lips and stuff like that, torturing him. Ash puts Darby's finger, instead of nail gunning her arm to the wall, he puts her fingers in a door jamb and closes it. So the only way she can get out is if she cuts her own fingers off, which she does because the little girl turns off the lights and helps her get a knife and cut her fingers off and stuff like that. And then she kills Lars. Let's see. Darby and Jay burn the place down with Ash inside, but he escapes, and then there's a final showdown. The cop comes up as Darby is finishing off Ash, but he shoots her in the back, and we think Darby dies, and then the book makes it seem like she passed away because they're at a cemetery in the next scene, but it's for her mom and the little girl's families with Darby and stuff like that. And that's it. Those are the big changes.
I could see why the book seems more horror than the movie.
Yeah,
Like
definitely.
it's like they cut out a lot of the horror. Like it just that
They
scene
did,
where
yeah.
I don't know why I could picture it. Her putting like the neck and pulling. Oh God, that's brutal.
It's,
like just
it's
thinking
yeah,
about it.
his knee, and he like has to work it, and she's struggling, and yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, that's gnarly. I did like the nail gun in this though. The nail gun was pretty effective. Like especially when he puts it through her, he like crucifies her like Jesus on the cross there, going through her wrist. That was pretty fucking brutal. I was like, I felt that. I was like, oh shit, that must fucking kill. And then when she fucking snorts the cocaine, that was a little much. I don't know, but
It's like Mario when he gets a mushroom, dude.
Yeah, right.
He's stronger. I was like, what message is this?
I know, right? Yeah, that was kind of weird.
New drugs.
But hey, yeah. But he went fucking ham with that nail gun there. Once he got outside, it was like Terminator, fucking taking out the car.
Yeah, is that possible, Joe? Have you ever worked with one of those before?
I've never worked with a nail gun, so I don't know. Like,
can you shoot it like a fucking machine gun?
I have no idea. I'm not sure.
From my knowledge, no. It's like one. You have to pull the trigger each time you want it to come out. So.
Well, he said like I rigged the safety, but that doesn't mean it's gonna fly like a fucking bullet.
That's real, because for that exact reason, people are idiots.
That's true. You'd be shooting shit all the time,
right?
Do you want me to go over what people said about on Discord before we rate it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Horror fan Ryan says, I liked it. I thought the lead made some stupid decisions like in most movies, but we had fun watching it. I did think the first twist was a little obvious, but was surprised by the way it came together. Weezerface said, I thought it was borderline horror, but I did enjoy the ride, all the twisty turns. Kayla said she liked it. I went in not expecting much to the plot, but I was surprised. Mondo said he liked the movie. The main character is a resilient and unkillable like Tara from the most recent Scream movie. Although somewhat predictable, there was one twist that got me. Didn't see it coming. Good, solid movie in my opinion. And that's all from Discord. What's your ratings?
All righty. Oh, sorry.
No, I'm low. I'm at a 2.5 out of 5 on Letterboxd, or I guess a 5.5 out of 10.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I think it's like a pretty solid thriller. Like I agree with Weezerface. I would call it borderline horror too. It sounds like the book obviously is a lot more horror than the movie ends up being. But yeah, I think honestly on repeated watchings, this one actually may go down. Now that you know the twists and everything like that, it might just not hit the same way. But as it stands right now, I'm gonna give it a 7.
Yeah, and I'm in between you guys. I give it a 6 out of 10. I think it's enjoyable. I'm happy I watched it. I don't think I'd revisit it necessarily, although I do have more of an appreciation for it after talking to the director, Damien Power, because the way he describes like his decisions and certain things. He talks about the score, which we didn't really mention, which was pretty good.
Right. Yeah, very good.
Yeah, so there's, I think I had more of an appreciation for it. So maybe I'd revisit it after hearing the review, but I think right now I'm at a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, and I'm definitely gonna, for next week's What Watch, I'm gonna check out his other movie too, Killing Ground, which seems like it's more straight up horror than it's like a camping trip, like and home invasion camping trip type movie or something like that. So could be cool. But yeah, next week we're watching The Exorcism of God. and we're gonna have a couple of interviews attached to it as well. The movie releases, what is it, March 11th? I think this Friday, right?
Yeah, the day this episode comes out.
This day this episode's come out. I don't know. Is it? I'm assuming a VOD release.
VOD on demand and theater.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's a triple threat actually, and Joe and I already watched it, and we're 2.5 stars apart right now, but we're both going to rewatch it, so who knows what's going to happen. But I think there's a lot to talk about in that movie, so definitely try to find it. And it's a very interesting film.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear what Todd and Sam have to say about it.
I really don't know where they're going to land on it, and that makes it better for me. Like, I love what I don't know. Like, I had an idea with No Exit, but with children, with Exorcism of God, and I mean the main priest is the butler from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, which is awesome.
Yeah.
It's so random. Like, I haven't seen him in fucking years, but yeah, he does a good job of it too. So
yeah, it was funny to see him in there.
It was so weird. Like, it took me a little bit to get used to it, but once the action starts going, I kind of settled in. But yeah, it was weird.
Yeah, but we're gonna Steve interviewed the director earlier this week for that one, and then we're gonna have most likely we haven't done it yet, but it's pretty much confirmed we're gonna be interviewing one of the main actors from the film as well, who plays the main priest there. I forget his Will Beinbrink, I believe is his name.
Yeah.
He was also had a small role in It Chapter 2 as well as Beverly's abusive husband in the new iteration of It Chapter 2. So yeah, we'll be chatting with him this week too. So yeah. All right, guys. Yeah, so that's it. Make sure you check out Exorcism of God for next week. Make sure you follow us on Discord. We got the movie club, which I think everyone is voting on right now. I don't know, have we come out? It's done. Okay, what are we doing? Wishmaster. All right. So we're going to be doing Wishmaster. Steve, just follow our Discord, and Steve will keep everyone up to date when we will be doing a live video chat on that one. And then follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We're everywhere. And stick around for the interview with director Damien Power from the movie you just heard us review, No Exit. Enjoy. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Horror Squad podcast, where today we are joined by a very special guest. Horror fans may know him from his previous film, Killing Ground, and tonight he is here to chat with us about his latest film, No Exit, which is currently streaming over on Hulu. Please welcome the director, Damien Power. Damien, thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing tonight?
I'm good. Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Steve, for having me.
Yeah, of course. So why don't you just start off by telling us how you got involved with No Exit?
Yeah, well, first of all, my agent sent me the script. So I read the script. This is back in 2019. And since I finished the script, I found the book and I read the book in one sitting. And straight away I thought, well, these are great, and I know exactly what to do with them. So yeah, I was in from the moment I first read the script and the novel.
Nice. Now, of course, this was based on a book, like you said. So how do you, as the director, tackle that with kind of doing your own thing, but also trying to respect the source material?
Yeah, well, in this case, Andrew and Gabe, the writers, had already done an adaptation of the draft, which was pretty close to the novel. And when I came aboard, I felt that what I wanted to do with it was keep it feeling real, keep it grounded. I wanted to make a thriller that had that kind of logic that we all appreciate in those sort of films. So this was going to be a film where the character tries every door to make sure it's unlocked.
Yeah.
So I was keen to make sure that it was as logical as possible. I feel that the novel already had a pretty cinematic kind of plot, and I think we stick pretty close to that. We maybe made some changes, I think, in terms of characterization. So I think in the novel, Darby, the heroine, is a college student. There's not so much detail about her backstory. I felt that when I read it, the character really had one superpower, and that was her ability to break into a car and not be discovered, which I don't know how to break into a car. If I had to break into a car, I'd put a brick through a window. So that led me to thinking, well, how does a young woman acquire that skill? Where does that come from? And that led me to thinking about a character who had struggled with addiction, who was estranged from her family and had that background. So I guess that's one of the changes that we made through the adaptation process, that I don't feel significantly changes the story, but I do think that it gives more color or character to the protagonist, and it gives her a greater struggle. I like it too. What I like about it too is that it makes her seem like a less likely hero. She begins the film as someone who thinks that maybe she doesn't deserve a second chance, and then she ends the film with maybe that window has kind of opened a little bit for her.
Mm-hmm. So with this film, it's all pretty much set in one single location. And I think the biggest challenge with single location films is, the repetitiveness tends to get boring. But in this movie, it works really well. So, can you tell us how, you were able to make it so effective and how you were able to use your the space to your advantage?
Yeah, so we shot pretty much the entire film, like 95% of it, I think, on a soundstage in Auckland, New Zealand. Right from the beginning, when we were talking about making the film, nobody was keen to film on the side of a mountain at night in a blizzard. So it was always, can we do this in a studio? And that idea appealed to me as well, because my first film, Killing Ground, was almost entirely set outside. We were just slammed with weather, and it was just a slog. It was really hard. And so the idea of building this set and having control over those elements really appealed to me. And so we built it. We built the set as an entirely practical set. So the building is a real building. It was built with Japanese cedar, and the steps at the front, there's stone. Like it you could walk inside the building, you could go into any room. All of the rooms were set decorated. It felt like a real space. So you could walk from that space into the car park that we built, and into kind of the forest verge or the road. And I mean, actor David Riesdale, he described it as like a bloody snow globe, and it really felt like this kind of special place where we could go and play and make this film. But I think that making it so real, it's not a cardboard set where we're going to, yes, we could move walls, but it felt real to the actors, and so it helped them with their performance, that we were kind of keeping it real in that way. And so visually for me, then it becomes about, well, how do we make sure that people don't get bored and it stays interesting? And I think that one of the appealing things about the script and the story for me was that it moves through many different kinds of action. So it opens with this sort of prologue in the rehab center, and then she steals a car, hits the road, through a sequence which in my head was a lot like Marion Crane driving to the Bates Motel in Psycho. She gets waylaid right down to the cop stop. She gets waylaid and does not know that she's in fact gone to the worst place in the world. Then there's the discovery of the girl. You have this kind of mystery sequence. It's like a whodunit. Who is the kidnapper? And then that plays out through almost 10-minute game of cards, which is fantastic. I mean, when do you ever get a chance to do that these days? And then you have a kind of when the identity is revealed, you have a kind of cat and mouse game where it's will Darby act, or will she kind of sit this one out? And when she makes a decision to act, then the whole film pivots very much into a kind of survive the night thriller that's part chase, part siege, and then part just completely crazy mayhem. So, as a director, you have all these different kinds of action that are unfolding in the same space. So it never feels quite the same. Something different is always going on. You're always looking at it in a different way. But also, we try and set the scene very early on. We see Darby moving through the space. We see her kind of exploring all these places that'll come to be significant later in the film. We get a sense of the reality of the space, so that when we're cutting inside and outside, we know kind of where we are, what the relationship between those people are, and then what they could do to get out of the situation.
Mm-hmm. Well, I got to say kudos to you and your crew, because it really did feel like we were in a blizzard. I got to say that the snow, everything, it just felt so authentic. And you mentioned the card game scene, which was actually a good segue into my next question. The bullshit scene was definitely one of my favorite scenes in the movie. It was just you really were able to kind of meet these characters in a very kind of quick moment, but you kind of feel like you already know them. So how did you go about doing that scene? Did you let the actors improv, or was that all scripted?
No, it was pretty tightly scripted. So because you're right, we only have a certain amount of time to meet these characters in this context, and obviously Darby's the one who's digging for information, and yet trying not to seem like she's digging for information, trying not to tip off that's what her real motive is. But through that game, we learn quite a bit about the characters and their relationships, in terms of not only a little bit about where they're from and who they are and what they're doing, which is plot information, but we're seeing how they're reacting to the card game, and each other playing. We can see that there's this kind of history between Sandy and Ed as a married couple. We can see Lars getting increasingly kind of worked up when the cards aren't falling his way, and Ash, trying to be a peacemaker around that table. So I just love the dynamics, and I feel like it really gave the actors kind of space to really kind of become the characters. I mean, when we shot last year, obviously it was kind of in the middle of COVID, and because of that, we had the actors in New Zealand for the duration of the shoot. So they were there from kind of day one to the end of it. And we weren't shooting around people's schedules. And what that meant was that we could pretty much shoot the film in order, which is such a rare treat that I'm sure I'll never, ever get to again. But it was fantastic, because, and I think the actors all really appreciated it, because they didn't have to, they're not shooting things out of order. They're not having to remember what their character did 10 minutes ago, because they did it yesterday. They've already lived that experience, and I feel so grateful for having that kind of enforced opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I mean, the chemistry between all the actors just seemed really great in this movie. How did how was the vibe on set? Was everyone kind of clicking right away?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, not only the cast, but the crew. I mean, the cast all bonded like a tight family, really. I mean, because they're all from the US, they're all from a long way away from home. But to be honest, I had such a great crew too. It really did feel, for me, I was away from home too. It felt like my kind of New Zealand film family.
I heard you mention, Marion Crane a la Psycho earlier, and another thing that really stuck out to me in this movie was actually the score and the use of strings specifically. So who scored this, and was it your kind of inspiration to use the strings and whatnot, or was that all him?
Yeah, no, Marco and Miles scored it. Marco Beltrami and Miles Henkin, and it was very early on. I had wanted to do an analog kind of orchestral score, but to keep it kind of small, because I didn't want a massive orchestra overwhelming the action. So it had to kind of feel proportional to me. I mean, it still feels big. It's a great big thriller score. And yes, I mean, when I think about thrillers, I'm always thinking about Hitchcock. And when I'm hearing those films, I'm hearing Bernard Herrmann. And that was definitely an inspiration. I mean, particularly in Psycho, where he's getting, it's just strings. There's no percussion. And he's getting strings to do things that strings didn't do before. So that was definitely an inspiration. But where to find that and then take it to a slightly different place. And also how to, convey the experience of Darby, of the protagonist, through the music. So it was always kind of my note to the composers that the music is what Darby's feeling and what she's kind of hearing in her head. So when it's tense and anxious, that's why. That's where it is. And so I think that I love the score, and I think that they just really delivered that perfectly.
Yeah, no, and it definitely helps ramp up the tension. And you know, being no stranger to genre films, you know, as a director, you know, how do you feel like you craft a good, you know, tense moment or scare that, you know, once you kind of see it in an audience setting, you know that you nailed it?
I think that it's thrillers and horror, anything where you're trying to get people to the edge of their seat, make them feel tense and anxious. It's really all about point of view, which is why what makes these films exciting to direct. And point of view is really all about like how much the audience knows. You know, it's the classic Hitchcock thing about the difference between surprise and suspense. I think that, you know, that's the way I like to think about tension, is that the audience knows something that the character doesn't quite know. Namely that things are going very badly. And we enjoy seeing that discovery, that sort of process of discovery. As a director, I'm always trying to think about how to reveal information. And in this film, you know, we stick pretty closely to Darby's point of view. So we're really not learning too much before she does. And that's great for this film because there are a couple of really big surprises and kind of twists in terms of the story. So to have them land for the character at the same time as the audience, I think is really kind of powerful thing. And, you know, I like films that put you in the shoes of the character, films where I can imagine, well, what would I do in that situation? You know, and I think that I tried to do that with both Killing Ground and No Exit, is to have these scenarios where you go, well, what would I do? I don't know what I would do. I think that is a really powerful form of identification and connection for the audience, and gives you that an experience, makes the film feel like you're experiencing it rather than just watching it. And that's what I think that the best kind of thrillers and horror films do.
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very well said. Well, Damien, I think that's a good place to leave off. Before we let you go, is there anything you got coming up? Any new projects or anything else you'd like to promote before we let you go?
I'm working on a couple of things. I think the thing that I'm writing at the moment is a psychological thriller set during World War II. So that'll be fun.
Very nice. Yeah. Do you think you know, the, genre films is kind of where you'd like to stay, or do you think you'd like to try other things?
Look, I'm drawn to kind of character-driven stories with high stakes.
Sure.
In any genre, and I do think that once you're thinking about high stakes, then it does tend to be in the kind of genre space, because it's kind of life or death. And for me, that's about again, it's coming back to trying to make films that give people an experience, whether it be a kind of roller coaster ride or, you know, put them on the edge of their seat. I think those are the films that I like to watch. Those are the films that I like to make. It inevitably means that they're probably going to be in a genre space somewhere. But those are the things that kind of draw me to story, is really the character and the stakes and the idea of, you know, telling stories that really kind of speak to the times we live in.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Damien, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It was an absolute pleasure. And everyone, make sure you go and check out No Eggs, now streaming over on Hulu.
No, thanks, guys. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Have a good one.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.